In 1821, Mexico won its independence from Spain, and that changed California's political world. News reached the province the following year, and California shifted its allegiance from the Spanish crown to the new Mexican Republic. With that shift came real changes in law, in land ownership, and in the balance of power between the church and civil authorities. The single most consequential change was the secularization of the missions, mandated by law in 1833. On paper, the idea sounded almost just: mission lands would be taken from the Franciscans and the resources distributed to the indigenous neophytes who had worked them. In practice, it worked out very differently. The land mostly flowed not to native people, but to a rising class of Mexican landowners called the Rancheros. Consider the numbers. Between 1833 and 1846, the number of private land grants in California jumped from about 50 to more than 600. Well-connected families, names like Vallejo, Alvarado, Carrillo, and Pico, accumulated hundreds of thousands of acres of prime land. This new ranchero economy revolved around cattle, specifically the production of hides and tallow for export, mostly to New England and South America. American trading ships became a regular sight in California ports during the 1820s and 30s, swapping manufactured goods for hides. This whole world was captured famously in Richard Henry Dana's book, 2 Years Before the Mast. The elite Californio families who dominated this economy formed a distinct social class, and many of them began marrying their daughters to the American and European entrepreneurs who were starting to settle in California. That American presence grew steadily. The first American citizens to arrive were fur trappers led by Jedediah Smith, who crossed the Sierra Nevada in the mid-1820s. Organized wagon train emigration began with the Bidwell-Bartleton Party in 1841, and a Swiss-born entrepreneur named Johann Sutter established a large settlement called New Helvetia in the Sacramento Valley, which became a magnet for American immigrants, and as we'll see, a hinge point in California's future. Underneath this whole society, the labor was still being done by indigenous people, who remained the primary workforce on the ranchos, just as they had been at the missions, and their population kept falling, ground down by disease, by environmental disruption from European livestock and invasive plants, and by the collapse of their traditional ways of feeding themselves. By 1846, California's native population had dropped to around 100,000, roughly a two-thirds decline from before contact. And by 1846, a war was coming that would change everything again.